All right, this is the third and the last attempt to see if the audio is going to be working fine or not. Let's give it a try. Testing, testing, one, two, three. If you can hear me, please let me know in the chat area if the sound is well or not. Um, Everything should be back to normal. Not that, not that. I've started a new live connection, so it would be in my channel, and please let me know if you can hear me or not. If you can hear me, welcome to another live session in Saro Dog Training. In this channel, we talk about dogs, dog training, and especially dog training without the use of treats, aversive tools, force. Okay, sounds like the audio is better this time. Sometimes there is the technical issues that we cannot control in this day and age. I hope now it's working fine. Yoko, can you turn off that light? Uh, let's get started. I hope you're doing well. It's Halloween, at least in this part of the world, and there's going to be a lot of dogs who are going to be traumatized today. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how to prevent that from happening. Let's talk about dogs overall, and let's answer your dog related questions. If you are new here, my name is Saro. I'm a dog trainer, also coach dog owners. If it's your first time here, in this channel, we work on dog training and we talk about dogs and we train dogs using play and praise reward system rather than using treats, food, aversive tools, force, or domination. Uh, if you're interested in that kind of videos and content, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also hit the bell icon as well, so you will get notified as soon as I post my next video. Please type in your questions in the chat area if you have any questions, uh, and I will be answering them as well. If you want to support the channel, please use the super chat option as well that is available. But when you're asking your questions, please make sure that you are mentioning your dog's breed, age, and sex as well. It will help me to have a better idea of how to give you a better and more detailed, customized answer to your question. So, as I said, today is one of those days that many dogs can be traumatized. At least in North America, it's a Halloween day, and lots of fireworks are going go on, and fireworks tend to be a little bit uh, noisy and loud for dogs. So understand that the noises and the smells that are and the activities that are happening during the Halloween day are a bit too much for dogs. Dogs are very sensitive animals. Their senses are more sensitive than humans, and therefore they can smell, see, and hear more detailed. So the noise of the fireworks that you hear, they probably hear it more, 10 times more, right? So it's louder for them, and that is why also it's a very unusual noise. That is why they will be uh, scared of it. I mean even me, I get scared when the fireworks go on. So it is scary. What you want to do is make sure that today you have your dog definitely on a leash. Don't off leash your dog because you never know. A sound can trigger your dog to be afraid and run away. So you don't want it that to happen and gets lost and and then gets worse. The situation gets worse. So you want to make sure that your dog is on a leash, it's inside of the house, safe and secure. If you feel that your dog is scared and is not uh, doing well and it's afraid and it needs to help itself, usually either they come and they become clingy to you, that's fine. For a day, you can allow that to happen if you are not that type of person who's clingy to their dogs as well. Let your dog be feeling more secure and safe by being with you. If that calms them down, allow that to happen, allow them to have the opportunity to feel safe. If you feel that your dog is one of those dogs that goes and hides under the bed or hides in the bathroom or somewhere, allow that to happen too. They know what to do, they know how to deal with it as well. In a way, they are telling you what they want. A crate would be a good idea. You may want to keep your dog in a crate and keep your dog inside and maybe close the crate as well. So your dog is kind of in a secure area, but also is is out of the environment that can cause your dog to become a little bit too um, overwhelmed. Uh, you know, Halloween brings also kids into your home. They come, all dressed and they're noisy. They're dressed up in different costumes, and these things can cause again your dog to become a little bit more afraid, right? So you know your dog better than anybody else. So if you know that your dog is going to be reacting to those, don't put your dog in that situation. If you know your dog may or may not, if you're not sure, if you're not sure, don't put your dog in that situation. Um, just simply avoid having that contact with kids if the kids are coming, because again, if the kids are coming and they're making noise and your dog gets overwhelmed and the door is open, your dog may take off. Many times that has happened, and then you're looking for your dog all night to find it. uh, Things can go wrong. So just keep your dog away unless you have a dog who's super chill, super cool. uh, Nothing bothers it. Harvey, for example, for me, Harvey is one of those type of dogs. He's super chill, cool. um, Dogs can come, people and kids and everybody can come, and he doesn't react that much. He doesn't react actually. He just sniffs them and walks away. But on the other hand, Annie, he doesn't do well with noisy kids. She doesn't do well with noises, so she reacts. So I will make sure that she's secure and safe, and I'll see if Harvey is doing well tonight, for example. If he's not doing well, I'll put him in a crate as well, keep him safe while the kids are coming and going. So things like that, you have to manage as much as you can. Most people, they tend to be very confident from their about their dogs, and they tend to ignore the idea that it is too much for dogs, and they will put their dogs in a situation that the dog is not comfortable. Um, so what I mean by that is you may think that your dog is okay, but most of the times dogs, they don't do well with unusual activities. They have certain, they are thinking, this is going to be a normal day, but they don't know it's Halloween. They don't know that the kids are coming. They don't know that fireworks is going to happen. They don't know any of this. Everything is going to be surprise for them, and they will be out of touch. They will be a little bit overwhelmed with everything that's going to happen. So, even though you know your dog is one of those chill, cool dogs, overall, it's not a good idea to overwhelm your dog. Put your dog in a situation that it's not usual. This is something that usually doesn't happen. It happens once a year. Kids come dressed up and making noises, and fireworks are going on. All these things are unusual. So I would suggest not to risk and not to put your dog in a situation that can become harmful to your dog, and also could be too much for your dog. Just you may be one of those people also that may say, you know what, I'm dressing up my dog and should be okay. Um, those things are human, um, humanizing. You are having fun as a human, but again, dogs, they don't care that they're dressed up. They don't care it's Halloween or not. Um, things like that. So don't feel bad not including your dog in the Halloween celebration today. Just simply keep your dog safe and secure. We have.
Okay, just say, by the way, when you're asking questions, say the dog's breed
Oh
and
yeah.
all that.
Also, just a reminder: when you're asking your questions, please make sure that you're mentioning your dog's age, sex, and breed. uh, Juanita is saying,
Juanita.
Juanita, my dog is hard to train, jumps and barks excessively when we have visitors or when I step out. What can I do? So, in cases like this, it's matter of the matter of that your dog is excited. Um, so it's a 1 year old beagle. Okay. It's excited. So that gives me a better point of view when you mention how old it is and what breed it is, and the male as well. Um, that's matter of excitement. Whenever people come, it's excitement. Whenever you're leaving, it gets excited too. So that's something that you have to control. You have to teach your dog to start managing it. One of the simplest exercises that you can do is when you are leaving, let's say this time when you're leaving, just make sure that you're not actually going somewhere. This is just for training. So pretend that you're leaving and do your normal routine. And if you see that your beagle is getting excited, just stand there and do nothing. Just stop and pause, and don't interact with your beagle. Don't do anything until your beagle calms down, until your beagle understands, okay, if I move or get excited or do anything, my mom is not going to interact with me. The moment that you interact with your beagle is going to take that as interaction. Is going to say, "Oh, if I do this, then my mom is going to interact with me." So you don't want to interact with your beagle. So stop doing everything that you're doing, and just pause and wait there until your beagle calms down. So, for example, the first time it may take your beagle 20 minutes to calm down, and then try again the next day or a few hours later. Just try again that you're going out, and just see how long it will take your beagle to calm down. If it takes less, that's a good point. That's a good sign that your dog is getting, your beagle is getting used to the idea that, oh, if my mom is going out and I get excited, if I calm down, everything is going to be okay. So first of all, you want to make sure that you're calm when you're leaving, so you're projecting that energy to your dog, and you may have to repeat this for few days or few sessions until your beagle gets it. And when it gets it, then because you have practiced it, for example, for let's say a week or 10 days or 2 weeks, then when the real scenario happens where you're going out, then your dog is going to have a better idea of what it's supposed to do. It stays calm when you're going out. And the same thing applies when uh, people are coming home, visitors are coming home, and your beagle jumps on them and gets excited. Um, all you have to do is just pretend that people are coming home. You can ask your friends and family member um, to play this game and practice with you, just so you are ready when the real scenario happens. And I have a video as well that, let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can quickly give you an idea of what I want you to do. And I can share this video for you with you as well. Share screen. Make sure that she doesn't break the command no matter what happens. Your dog must have or is committed to something. You have to find that thing that your dog is committed. Is it the toy? Is it the sausage? Whatever it is that your dog is so committed to it that it's going to break all the rules. You have to bring that in the picture and practice it with your dog. So again, I'm going to practice this with Annie. So Annie, sit, stay. So my command has to be really clear and to the point. So Annie, stay. Very good. She's not moving a muscle. She's So let me just give you a insight what's happening. So that toy that I'm using with Annie could represent a guest, right, or guests. Whatever distracts your dog or your beagle, you have to find that and practice it during non visit hours. This is something that you have to practice. You have to ask your beagle, yeah, to sit and stay and calm down beforehand, before the guests come. So you're practicing this before anything happens, not during while the visitors are coming. That's not the time to train your beagle. That's not the time to teach anything to your dog. You have to do it before or after. During the visitors' visits, you just control your dog, but try to practice this with your dog. So in this case, I'm using sit and stay, and that calms my dog down. That's why we're doing this exercise. Just looking at it. There we go. If I can control this now, that ball represents guests. If I can control my dog now, good luck to me when the guests come home.
So this is where I have to bulletproof the sit and stay to the point that she doesn't move. Okay, go get it. All right. Okay, so I'm rewarding her because she didn't move a muscle, but I still have a little bit of more work to do. So what I'm going to do, you can do on or off leash if you want, and practice this with your dog. Okay, whatever
I
works.
have a
Sit,
question.
stay.
What is the question?
Make sure the command is given nice and clearly. Stay. She moved, right? So what I'm going to do, if she moves, what I'm going to do, Annie, no, nope. I'm going to give her a verbal correction. Nope. Still have to make it a little bit more bulletproof. Sit, stay. Nope,
There's another question about
nope,
this. Booth.
nope.
You mentioned sausage.
That's amazing. That's that's. I don't have any words for it. You know, for practicing it for 5 minutes now, she's doing really good. Good girl, go get it. Okay, so that
So that's basically what you need to work on, to get your beagle to sit and stay and control it. Bring out all the toys or whatever it takes your beagle to be distracted, and practice it during the non-visitors visit hours. Uh, that way you're preparing your beagle for the real thing to come and happen. So uh, I know Ruth as a comment, Ruth M is saying, you said it on the video something that the dog is committed to and mentioned sausage. Is this a situation when you can use food then? I
Situations.
I strongly suggest not to use food. The reason I mentioned sausage in this video is because many people are still food. They are still using food to train their dogs. But I wanted to show you that if that's the case, if your dog is food motivated, you have to learn also that you can train your dog without the food, as I'm showing in the video with my own dog, which is toy motivated. I don't recommend using food in any situation when it comes to training. The reason for that is because when you use food, then the food becomes the main focus of the dog, and they get confused. They forget the rules. What I mean by get confused is that they dogs cannot distinguish the difference between meal and treats, right? Uh, Food and treats for them is a meal, is a time to
Same thing.
eat, is something what
Same.
is same thing. Is they feel it's the same. They feel it's food eating time, and when you use food or treats to train your dog, what it does, it makes your dog to focus on the wrong thing rather than the process itself. Uh, so let's say we are training our dog to sit and stay, and if I use food, then my dog is going to start focusing on food rather than the task of sitting and staying, which is very hard to manage the dog when you're training your dog. I hope that makes sense.
And Juanita says, my dog is very stubborn.
And Juanita,
Oh,
you have a follow up that regarding your question that you're saying my dog is very stubborn. I will try my best. Hopefully, it works for us. Thank you. Uh, the idea about A dog being stubborn, let me clarify that as well. Dogs are not stubborn. The,
Human
it's the
perception.
human who is making mistakes or is not clear enough to the dog. Therefore, the dog says, "I'm not going to learn it. I have a hard time learning." If you're not clear, firm, and know exactly what to do yourself, you're not going to project that energy to your dog. Therefore, your dog is going to say, you don't know what you're doing, um, and you're trying to teach me something. So I'm going to ignore you because a blind can't lead a blind. So what I mean by that is, for example, if you're training your dog and you want to teach it to sit, for example, and this is a very common mistake dog owners make when they're trying to teach their dog to sit, right? They do this. They start making all these mistakes. So let's say I'm trying to teach my dog to sit. I'm saying, Rover, Rover, come, sit, come, sit, no, 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 sit, no, sit, sit, please, sit, no, sit, no, no, sit, no. My dog is stubborn, is not learning. See, so if you're approaching your dog training, for example, that way, so in this case, that this example that I was giving, I was saying come, sit, and I was saying sit so many times in different versions of
Tone.
me and tones, different tones as well, where my dog says, "What do you want? What is it that you're trying to say or teach, or what do you want me to do?" Right? When you do that way, when you approach training that way, and you're not clear of what you want and how you want your dog to do, and yourself, you don't know how to teach your dog to sit, for example, you know the final picture is your dog's bum gets on the floor, but how do you get there? If you don't know how to get there, you're going to do all kinds of stuff to get there. And when you're doing all kinds of stuff, and when you're saying too many things, and when you're doing too much or too little, you are confusing your dog. So therefore, your dog says, "I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to pay attention to you. I have no idea what you're saying. Come back when you're ready," right? And that is called stubbornness, right?
Human.
From humans' point of view. In your mind, you're doing everything, and this is very common as well. Many dog owners, they tell me, "Oh, I've done everything, and my dog doesn't learn, doesn't listen to me." But the thing is, yes, you have done everything, but you have done it wrong, right? So to have that clarity, to have that firmness, clarity that your dog can learn, you have to have a plan, a good idea of what you're doing, and that's why it's good to work with the professionals, right? So many of my students have been in the same shoes as you are, that they are confused, they don't know what they're doing, but then when they come and work with me and they start the program, within a few weeks they say, so simple, I was making so many mistakes, and just by avoiding making those mistakes, I'm already stepping forward, right? So it's not stubbornness, it's matter of being clear and firm and clear. I hope that makes sense.
Okay, next question is Cheyenne.
Cheyenne. Okay.
No,
Cheyenne says, "I am a trainer myself,
dog trainer.
dog trainer." I hope you mean dog trainer. That's great. I have a French bulldog and have trained months ago, but is now resource guarding. Has bit mom twice and attempted to bite me. When I spoke with another trainer, I was told to do
Follow up.
follow up negative and punish the behavior. Do you have any other advice on this situation? Yeah, I do. One of the reasons I don't suggest dog owners to use food or treats to train dog is because of this resource guarding. Dogs, and as I said in the beginning in this live show, they can't differentiate between feeding and uh, treats. It becomes uh, it becomes confusing for them when you use treats or food to train dogs, and they get confused, they get stressed when when you present food or treats to train with your dog, especially if you have a sensitive dog, a sensitive breed. In your case, you have a French bulldog. They are very sensitive. They have a sensitive stomach, anyways, right? Um, So food, I would say, avoid using food to train your Frenchie because they don't do well with food being part of their daily routine of being fed and also trained at the same time all day long using food. It's not good for their system. French bulldogs, they need to have, first of all, a good diet, clean diet, fresh food diet, and also they need to fast a lot to fix their system. So I would reduce or remove completely food from the training plan or program that you have. Um, the other thing is, if a dog is resource guarding, that means that that dog is, how do I say, is bored. It's You have a dog who is asking for work, is asking for a job. So when I say a dog is asking for a job, it means they are looking to be stimulated more during the day. And if you don't provide that stimulation, enough stimulation for that dog becomes creative. It says, my needs are not being fulfilled. Therefore, I'm going to come up with a way or an activity that can fulfill my needs. Your bulldog, your Frenchie, has decided to be uh, resource guarding. Some other dogs, they start biting people. Some other dogs, they start digging a hole. Some other dogs, they start chewing furniture. Some other dogs, they start humping, barking, all these things. So they become creative. Your dog, your Frenchie, has decided to become a resource guarder. It's an activity that he wins all the time, and it's a great activity for him to get stimulated. So what that tells you is that your dog is not stimulated enough. And what I mean by not stimulating enough is that dogs, they have five daily essential needs, which are has to be provided in this order, which are exercise, training, socialization, care, and then affection. You may be over exercising your dog or you may be under exercising your dog. You have to provide a decent amount of exercise. That exercise, in my opinion, is physical stimulation. So you're taking care of your dog's physical stimulation part first. And then training. Training is the mental stimulation part of your dog. You have to mentally stimulate your dog as well. Um, if you do it the wrong, if you train your dog too much or you're doing training the wrong way, that can affect your dog's behavior as well. So you have to train it properly. Socialization is social stimulation. So your dog needs to have that social stimulation provided as well. Care is physiological stimulation. The feeding, the being brushed, to be taken care of, that the physiological part of your dog. And affection is the emotional part of your dog's stimulation. And if you don't provide proper form of affection, it can either be too much or too little. It can cause a lot of bad behaviors to develop as well. And also, affection is one of the things that is the last thing that a dog needs. Most people, most dog owners, they start the day or the formula with affection, and then follow up with care, and then maybe a little bit of socialization, and not enough training or not training at all, bad training, too much of exercise or too little exercise. The formula has to be in this order and has to be provided on daily basis, especially for dogs who have behavioral issues. So I think as a dog trainer yourself, I hope you mean by when you're saying you're a trainer yourself, uh, you mean dog trainer. As a dog trainer, one of the things that I would love you to remember and also share this with dog owners is this formula. Just let them know that they have to provide this for their dogs. And in your case, as I said, your Frenchie is literally screaming to you by doing visual bad behaviors to tell you that I'm not being stimulated enough during the day. So when you start focusing on this, then your dog is going to be more relaxed. And most dog trainers, they will focus on punishing the behavior, where in my opinion it's not a matter of punishing a dog. It's a matter of listening to a dog and seeing what the dog is telling you. It's never ever dog's fault. I just wrote an article in my website on my blog. If you're interested, you can go and read it on my website. It's sarodogtraining.com. And I mentioned, it's never ever dog's fault when dogs misbehave, so-called misbehave, because their misbehavior is not to piss us off. They're not doing that to make our world or lives horrible. It's a result of being the bad dog owner. And a dog, when is having problems, either mentally, physically, emotionally, they have problems. Like humans, they can come and have a chat with you and talk to you and say, you know what, here's the problem, here's what I am dealing with, can you help me? They can't do this, right? So what they do, they start maybe hiding in the corner or not being too active or bark or things like that to give you signals that there's something wrong with them. And if you don't get it, if you don't understand it, what they do, they start, visually showing you what they feel like. They will start chewing furniture, barking, and in your case, your dog is um, resource guarding. So it's giving you a visual, like your dog cannot be any clearer than that, right? It's telling you exactly how it feels. And as a dog owner, we have to respect that. You have to understand that and say, you know what? I'm sorry. I was busy with my life. I was busy with whatever, and I didn't pay attention to you. I didn't understand exactly what you were saying. Let me help you now. Now I know what I'm supposed to do. Now you know, in a way, you need to provide your dog's daily 5 essential needs. And, you know, in few weeks, you will see that the behavior is going to change because your dog is going to be less stressed. So think about those, focus on those, and just manage that. And one of the things that we do, for example, as a myself as a dog trainer, is I go through all these details with my clients, right? uh, when I work with my clients and my students, I teach them. I understand. I start learning exactly what their pains are, what the problems are, and we start addressing those little issues that a dog has using this formula, right? And that's the thing about my program, that I work with dog owners in different level. It's not just let's fix your dog's resource guarding. I fix the dogs and the dog owners' root cause, and that's very important. Uh, and if you're interested, again, to read the blog, it is on my website, sarodogtraining.com. And the blog is, I'm going to put the link for the blog. This is the blog that I want you to read, and I'm going to put that in the chat area. I'm going to call it blog for you to go ahead and read it. And I hope that helps you and gives you a different point of view of approaching your dog's life. Okay, where do we go next?
Next will be Tiffany.
Tiffany.
Yeah. Oh no, she doesn't have a complete.
Hmm.
The gal, gal,
Galvatron.
yeah,
Galvatron. Hello, I have a beagle, 6 months old female. How to teach a dog to rubbish outside? Thank you.
So she has a follow-up. Rubbish means eat rubbish outside.
Eat rubbish outside?
Yeah, that problem.
How to teach a dog to eat rubbish outside?
I think she meant not to eat.
Not to eat. The Gallotron, can you rephrase your question one more time? Because I'm not clear on what your question is. Do you want your dog to do its business outside? Is that what you mean? Or you want your dog to not to eat rubbish outside? I'm not clear which what is the question.
Okay, next is Shibam.
Shabam.
How do how to start?
By the way, Gallotron, just rephrase your question one more time. I'll come back to you next. Uh, Shaban is asking how to stop Beagle not to chew to his bed, not chew his bed. Mine Beagle is 7 months old. So, as I was just explaining to the other question, uh, when a dog is doing something, in this case now is that your beagle is chewing the bed, right? And for a 7 month old beagle to do that is very normal. First of all, let's say that it is normal. But normal in what sense? Normal in sense that you are a new dog owner, obviously, I can tell, and you have a beagle, and you have a 7 month old beagle, and these are normal behaviors for you. This should happen. If it didn't happen, then it wouldn't be normal. That's because you're a new dog owner. New dog owners make a lot of mistakes, and they allow their beagles or their dogs to make mistakes. But also, you have to understand again that when your beagle is chewing the bed, is literally clearly is saying to you that I'm not stimulated enough, right? And that is because you haven't been providing your beagle's daily five essential needs, which are exercise, training, socialization, care, and then affection. As a new dog owner, as a new beagle owner, I would say you probably are focused on affection and care, right? Mainly, you're providing a lot of affection and a lot of care, which in your dog's point of view, from your beagle's point of view, those are the last few two things that your beagle needs. Your beagle's needs are different than what you need. As a new dog owner, you feel, oh, I need to share affection with my beagle. I love my beagle. Um, oh, it's good for my beagle. Let me share affection, 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 affection. And that's all you're focused on. And that's all you're doing. And that causes instability in your your beagle's behavior and state of mind. And therefore, it develops unwanted behaviors and does behaviors such as chewing the bed. Your dog is communicating to you that, hey, mom, or that you're not providing me enough exercise, you're not providing me enough training, I'm not getting enough socialization, I'm getting good care, I'm getting a lot of affection too, but you got to work on those three, right? And that is something that you have to do. So it's not, there isn't any one thing that I would say, hey, do this and boom, the chewing stops. Chewing is a signal to you that are telling you that you haven't been providing your dog's daily five essential needs and your beagle is not stimulated. And if you don't focus on providing these five daily essential needs, your beagle is going to do other stuff as well, just to be more clear about to you, yes, to be more clear to you about how it feels inside. Again, we don't want to deal with band-aid solution. We want to go to the source of the problem. And the root cause of your beagle's chewing his bed is because he's not being stimulated enough on daily basis. It's stress. Does it make sense? If you're enjoying this live training, live consultation kind of, and live show, please hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe to the channel as well and hit the bell icon as well so you will get notified as soon as I go live or if I post a new video. I hope you're enjoying the live session so far. Let's go to the next question. Who's the next question?
So I think the Yawatron, it says eat rubbish outside. That's what she means.
So I'm assuming that you don't want your dog to eat rubbish outside. I would assume that's the question, that you want to stop your dog from eating stuff from outside. Let me find the video that I'm looking for so I can give you a better.
Feces. She says my dog eats feces.
Okay. Yes. So that's what the thing is. You want your dog to stop picking up stuff.
Food found out.
Just let me come up. Okay. Found it.
Video.
Yeah. All right. So to answer your question, I'm going to refer to the video that I have made. Let me share.
And textures for my dog to get really interested in. Kibble and go of that.
Okay, here we go.
Now the next step of working on this issue is to create an obstacle course. Now, before I get started, I want to show you what I have here. So I have some random rocks. I have some treats in a can. I have some yummy raw chicken necks in a container with the lid on. I have some kibble in a bag and some random toys with different shapes and sizes and colors and textures for my dog to get really interested in. Okay, we're all set. So I have the course set up, and what I'm gonna do, I have the lids on my container of the treats. I have the rocks there, kibble, I have chicken necks in a container with the lid on. This is level one of the obstacle course. So I'm gonna start with level one of obstacle course. I'm gonna ask my dog to walk with me on my right side away from the obstacles. You want to see how she does. Trust me, we haven't done this exercise before, so she doesn't know exactly what is going on. She did pretty good.
Sorry, I had unmuted myself. So one thing I want to mention here is when you are using treats or food to train your dog, and then you're taking your dog for walk on the streets, and your dog comes across food and treats, they can't distinguish between food on street and your food and the food at home, and everything is food for them, right? Everything is feeding, everything is to eat. So therefore, again, I don't recommend using treats to train your dog because then you're confusing more. Now, if you don't train your dog using treats and food, you can see the results here, right? This is a dog who hasn't been trained with food or treats. So therefore, I have a better control over food when it comes with her, comes to her temptations about food, right? And one of the things that I want you to also notice in here is, you see, I'm not rewarding her with food when she doesn't eat food, when she doesn't pick up food from on the roads, on the streets. The reward that I have with her is just verbal and a little bit of praising, physical praising. And you can see that, right? Let me rewind and watch one more
to
time.
see if she's gonna think about it twice. Good girl, yeah. This is her when she jumps on me. That's her sign that she.
So you see, she jumps, right? And I'm just saying, good girl, yeah, right? That's the reward of her for doing something right, right? I'm not rewarding her with treats or food. And I just want you to see the beauty and simplicity of training dogs without the use of treats and food. It makes life so much easier. So I hope this gives you an idea,
It's possible.
which is to let you know that it is possible um, to train a dog, first of all, without the use of treats and food, and second of all, how easy it is to manage and control a dog who's not treat or food motivated. So before I go to the next question, I just wanted to emphasize on this. So far, we have come up across a dog who's resource guarding, a dog who's picking up food on the street. These are and chews on the street and chews its bed. All these things can be prevented mainly with not using treats to train your dog. Food and treats have no place in training dogs. They do cause more harm and confusion in dogs than do good. Treats are, I hope by going through this session today, you are learning a little bit more and understanding a bit more of dog psychology and human psychology as well. That it is not ideal method of dog training when you use treats or food to train your dog. You're digging a hole for yourself. It has a temporary solution when you use treats. It solves your problem temporary, but in the long term, it causes more damage than uh, and harm than does good.
Because it's not so many problems it causes.
Again, because uh, when you're using again treats or food, you're not training your dog or dealing with your dog's situation from the root
Cause.
root from the root. You are dealing it on the surface. When you train your dog without the use of treats or food and use play and praise, you're really getting in depth with your dog. You're going to the core and root part of your dog's mindset, and you're helping your dog to learn and deal with situation internally rather than externally. Treats are external um, rewards. They come and go. I just take a look at your dog. When you give treats to your dog, it's seconds. They have a seconds of uh,
Pleasure.
pleasure. But when you play with your dog or interact with your dog,
It's longer.
it's very long.
Yes.
It can go. It not only it lasts during or while you're training your dog or playing with your dog, but the effects of it lingers longer with your dog throughout the day. And imagine if you repeat that over and over, the benefits of the training without the use of treats.
The next question.
Who's next?
Last, just say it's the last
Okay,
question you're gonna
then
answer.
yes, I'm gonna answer the last question, which is who?
That's it. Do mama.
Dudo Mama. Let me find it. Dudo Mama. Found it. Okay, that's an interesting name, Doodle Mama. You have a either golden doodle or Labradoodle or some doodle in there, and your mama's very cute, cool name. I have tried every collar and harness and several methods, but my 8 months old cockapoo won't stop pulling on leash. Other than that, she's perfect. Other than that, she's perfect. Well, first of all, here's another example of a dog owner who says, I've done everything. I've tried everything, but the thing is, everything probably you've done has been the wrong way of doing it. Therefore, you're saying I'm done. I've done everything and nothing works. First of all, that's the case that you've done it, but you've done it the wrong way. So you have to do it the proper way, the right way. First of all. Second, tools and gadgets are not the solutions. They do not solve problems. They do actually, in most cases, cause more trouble than helping. The reason for that is because a harness is designed actually for or to promote pulling. You know, Mm, the the sled dogs, they are wearing harness because that helps them to pull the sled. So harness can actually um, promote pulling, right? And collars usually tend to either choke the dog, which physically harms the dog, or sits in a situation on their neck that either doesn't harm them, like their neck is full of muscles as well. So if it's sitting in the wrong spot, it either helps the dog to pull more, or it doesn't affect the dog at all, or it chokes the dog, right? So you're harming the dog as well. And the other thing that I want you to understand is that many of you have a dog who is 8 months old and wants to explore the world, right? And when you stop your dog to explore the world, it will pull. It wants to explore. Your dog is saying, I want to know what is going on, right? I want to know what is there, what is that. I want to explore. I want to, what?
What's up there?
Yeah, what's out there? I want to know what's happening, right? So when your dog is in that exploring mode, you don't want to restrict your dog to
Sniff.
not to be able to explore, because when you do that, it backfires. You want to let your dog to do what it wants, so it relaxes and then cooperates with you. But if you make your dog to not have the opportunity to
Yeah,
explore the
against you.
world at all, then it will work against you. Because if it's all the time not to be able to do what I want to do, then what's the fun about it? I'm going to be more rebellious to get to what I want, right? So let's watch this video, and I will also help you uh, as we watch the video. I'll share more tips. Asked me to
The
make a video
question.
about how
Give him the
to deal
question.
with a dog who's pulling on the leash. I have one of those dogs actually. This is Annie, my own dog, and she tends to pull on the leash, right? She's always at the end of the leash. So, how do we solve this problem? So, I'm going to give you some solutions. This is not your average dog training. our dog trainer tip. But one thing that you have to understand is when it comes to your dog who's pulling on the leash, the solution is not to force the dog to walk like this, right? This is what you want. You want your dog to walk like this, but you're forcing the dog to walk beside you, which is not natural. It's not normal for a dog who's pulling on the leash. So I want you to understand, first of all, that part. That is not natural for a dog to walk beside you like that, right? Um, when you do that, you are actually making the dog to walk in a way that it's not natural to its well-being, especially if you have a doodle. Let me grab the other video as well. Cockapoo. Okay. Um, hold on. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find it. I think this is the one. Okay. Let's watch this as well. Okay.
The use of treats or food. Train and change your dog's behavior by using play and praise reward system and without the use of treats, aversive tools or methods, force, domination, or being alpha.
Yes, I don't want my dogs pulling my shoulder out of its socket by pulling me down like halfway down the street while they're on lead. But I actually don't care as long as my dog is comfortable on the lead and there isn't pulling. I don't care what my dog wants to be. I don't care if they want to be in front of me or behind me or to the side. And certainly from that perspective of like teaching our dogs or expecting our dogs to be right by our side all the time, that's a big ask. And there's actually a lot of pressure on the physical body. The dog's skeletal system is, as a canine, yes, if they're off on a hunt, they may kind of do that heel work if they're off on a hunt, because there's kind of this information of how, almost like how I see it as a flock of birds. When they're on a hunt and they're that aligned and that tight knitted together, they're moving like a flock of birds. But if they're roaming, exercising, having freedom, like if you watch canines move naturally, if you watch street dogs, even just your own dog, as humans we tend to walk in a straight line. That's how we are made as our skeletal system. Dogs naturally are seekers, are foragers, are searchers. They're supposed to move and meander like a river, not in a straight line. So that movement for me is then what freedom are we giving our dogs to move?
So the first So I hope that makes sense. Understanding that part itself is a big eye opener when you start understanding that dogs need to have that freedom, right? Don't the first fight that you have to win is in your mind that your dog has to walk nicely beside you. And an 8-year-old, 8 months old, or 10 months old, or even a year-old dog does not have that capacity of understanding that I need to walk beside the human, unless in a straight line, unless you are training that dog to do certain job, certain work, and that dog is bred for, is designed for that task and that job. Then you can train that dog to walk beside you and do all the stuff that you want. But most dogs, they do not have the knowledge and capacity to walk straight line with the human. They need to explore. So understanding this tip itself, I think it will open up a different point of view for you when it comes to your dog, and also understanding the fact that, let's say, if I'm going for a walk with my dog for half an hour, for 15 minutes, I will let my dog to do whatever it wants. When you do that, after 15 minutes, your dog has explored and done everything that it needs to do, sniffing and got everything that it needs to be done. After 15 minutes, if you ask your dog to walk beside you, you are going to get a dog who's more willing to walk beside you. am willing to not to pull on leash and be more responsive to you. So try that concept as well. I hope Doodle Mama helps you with that issue that you're having. I think that's about it for the day.
Question, just the last comment, Meraki.
Merrick,
Meraki.
Meraki, finding you're live in great timing for the country I'm living in. Thank you, sir. You are very welcome. Which country are you, Meraki, for me to know to target more around this time, which is
Desirable time zone.
yeah, it's more desirable and more I think more beneficial for everybody to be on this time zone. Yeah, if Miraki, if you could let me know what your time zone is, would be great. So yeah, thank you all for Harvey came to join us. The dogs are coming to let me know that hey, it's time to say goodbye. Thank you very much for.
Ruth is from Finland.
Okay, Indonesia, Finland, very good. Everybody, from everywhere. Thank you all for being here. I hope you enjoyed today's session. I'll try to come on the same time, around the same time next time. We'll try again. I'm sorry in the beginning if we had audio problem. I don't know. Sometimes there are glitches I can't control. But next time I won't have any issues, hopefully. Uh, Again, if you are new here and if you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button as well if you enjoyed this live session. Make sure to share this video, this channel, and the content that you're learning in this channel. I hope I gave you some light bulb moments, and you're going to have a lot of ideas now to go and work on your dog and solve most of the issues that you're having. If you want to work with me one-on-one, make sure to visit my website, sarodogtraining.com. Oh, there is one question left. I'll try to answer that question from Ruth as well. But yes, if you want to work with me, I have a perfect plan to work with you as well. It's called Perfect Dog Plan, where we work together online, one-on-one for a lifetime. There's no limits. You're going to be working with me 24/7. You're going to be hiring me as your perfect dog trainer. If that is something that is interesting to you, and if you want to invest time, energy, and money as well, that's the key. You have to invest time, energy, and money to get the results that you want in this day and age. If that's the goal, go to my website. There's a button there that you can set up a free call where it leads you to a calendar where you can book a session to have a video call with me to see. It's kind of an interview session to see if we are matched to work together or not. Which question was it?
So, what do you think about the dog speech button? I don't know what it is. Maybe cancel next time. I think,
Speech button?
yeah.
Good. There's a question about speech button. I don't know what that is. I think I have an idea of what it is. Hold on. Let me just Google that. And it's a good question. I know what you mean. I think this is the one you're talking about. Let me share this. There are these toys or gadgets that the dog presses on each button, and each button has a word into it, program, and the dog kind of feels like it's communicating to you. So the buttons can say like out, pee pee, things like that.
The question is, could that help finding kind of mutual language?
The problem is that This is a new toy. There hasn't been a long study done about it, and there's no really a good data to back this up. Most of the things that I have personally seen and come across is that most of it is just luck. The dog is just the dog owner is just uh, getting, or having the answer that the owner wants. So let me see if I can get a video that we can watch, and I'll give you a better example of what I mean.
Bunny is my 1-year-old sheepadoodle. Had her in my life for. What do you hear? There's a big barge going by. Bunny has been using buttons to communicate with me since she was 8 weeks old.
She commented
Yeah.
Maruch,
Mm.
last comment.
What?
Your buttons actually record different words and
That's a bird.
learns to press them to communicate with you.
We have
Yes.
different sentence parts. So we've got people, places, outside park beach, some of her favorite toys, piggy ball tug. You play hide the hippo? Anytime I think about what she would want to be able to express, I try it out a button. There it is!
So let me. So that's the tool that's the gadget that we're talking about, right? That's the one. So my intake is, even though you can customize it and the dog learns, the best communication is if you have a good one-on-one communication, rather than depending on gadgets, rather than depending on tools, right? This is kind of, I would say, it's fun. It's a good exercise for human to, it's a good challenge for the human to come up with ways uh, to expand the dog's so-called communication.
But it's a shortcut.
But it's a shortcut. The best, I would say, the best. Let me give you another example. The best way of communication with your dog is just simply
Relationship.
improving that relationship with your dog, improving that communication that you have with your dog, um, improving that one-on-one interaction that you have. Like, for example, if you watch this video, for example,
This environment fully to train my dog. So Annie, come here. Sit. So I'm going to practice sit command, and she does it. I'll reward her with her toy and her game. Annie, come. And there's Annie, come. So there's a come command in this spot, this little area. We're practicing come. Sit. We're practicing sit. We can practice lie down. Annie, lie down. Stay. We're practicing stay.
so nothing is better than this, right? Nothing can replace this. The fact that you're taking the time to be interacting with your dog one-on-one in person, devoting time and space and energy to communicate to your dog, right? To communicate and interact and bond and play and have fun with your dog. Nothing can replace this, right? Uh, that gadget, it's like having a game console, and you go and play with your kids the same game on a game console. Yes, you are interacting with your kid, but you're interacting through a console, a game console, a gadget. But the best way of interacting with your kid is For example, picking up a soccer ball and going and playing outside with your kid one on one, chatting, having fun, running around, and having a good time. That's my opinion, right? That's what I would think about those gadgets. It's a good gadget if you are interested in it to purchase it and use it and have fun with it. But don't forget the real game and real interaction that you're going to have with your dog. You should have with your dog, right? That could be a part of your life with your dog, but mainly you should be focused on the real one on one interaction that you're going to have with your dog. I hope that makes sense. That sums it up. Thank you very much. And I will see you next time. And until next time, have fun with your dog.